Hello, writers. I am so excited about our target today. I can go through the whole writing process. No matter what type of writing you're doing, whether you're writing a comic strip, or you're writing a teaching book, or you're writing a fantasy story, whatever you're writing, all writers, even published authors, like the ones who've written the books that are in our library, go through the same writing process. And today I'm going to show you what that looks like. The writing process is something that we're going to go through every time we write all year long. So make sure those antenna scopes are on. No matter what they're writing, the first step in the writing process is always brainstorming. Even published authors have to start by deciding what they're going to write about. To brainstorm, they might use things like our heart sheet. They might write down ideas of things that they care about. They might write down story ideas they have or ideas for characters. You might remember that before I started writing my story about the beach, I had no idea what to write. I looked at my heart and I wasn't sure what to write. So I looked around me for inspiration and I saw something, a picture that made me think of the beach. And then I thought, oh, I've been to the beach before. Maybe I could write about a time when I went to the beach. That is brainstorming. It's deciding what to write. And it can be the hardest part for some people, but it's important to get that idea and to start writing. You can always change it later, and we're going to talk about that next. After you've brainstormed, authors will plan out what they're going to write. They might make a list, like they might think, okay, this is what happens at the beginning, this is what happens in the middle, this is what happens in the end. They might make a list of things they're going to teach about. Like if they're teaching about cats, they might teach about what cats eat. They might teach about how cats play. They might teach about how cats sleep. So they might make a list. Some people plan out in pictures. So this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen. You might remember that when I was planning for my beach story, I thought in my brain, what am I going to write about in this beach story? Oh, I'm going to write about the time I went to the beach and I saw dolphins. So first I was at the beach with my family and we had a picnic, and then the girl came up to us and saw the dolphin, and then we were watching the dolphin and we were having a good time. Thinking about that in my brain and saying it out loud to myself in a level 1 voice helped me plan. I even wrote in the air to plan. After writers have brainstormed, come up with their topic, and they've planned what they're going to write, they draft. Drafting is when you start to write your story. Just because you write something doesn't mean you can't erase it or cross it out and write something different later. Your draft is just your first idea for your... Today, I need to finish my draft. This is what I have so far. I always reread what I've written to help me know what to say next. The beach. Author and illustrator, Mrs. Martin. One day, I went to the beach. It was really sunny and windy. I played in the sand. I also swam in the ocean. It was so fun. I even saw seagulls. So that's the beginning of the story I'd planned. Then the middle, when the dolphin comes. As we were eating lunch, a girl runs up to us. She told us she saw a dolphin. All of a sudden, the dolphin got close. It made a big splash that got water all over us. Gross, my brother yelled. So I have a beginning and a middle to my story, but I need to draft the end. I need to finish it. So I'm going to think about what to write next. So I wrote it in the air, and I thought, after my brother yelled, gross, I wanted to find a way to finish the story that felt good to my readers, because I have my audience in mind, like yesterday. So I wrote, we all laughed, even my brother. Then we finished our picnic. What a great day at... What a great day at the beach. And you'll notice that I finished my pictures to go with my words. Now, I still have some pages in my book, but my story is finished. It's okay that I didn't fill all the pages. I wrote a lot, and then I wrote some more. And I have a beginning, middle, and end. I have drafted my whole story. So am I done? I don't think so. All writers, especially published authors, aren't done after they draft. Their next step is to revise. When you revise, you use the checklist, whether it's in your brain or a real checklist like we have, and you change your work to make it even better. You check your work. You go back and you make changes to make it even better. So now I'm going to go back into my work and I'm going to revise it to make it even better. So I was looking at my work and I noticed a few things I wanted to change, but I'm going to show you one part. On this page, something when I reread it didn't make sense because it says, "It was so fun. I even saw seagulls. As we're eating lunch, a girl runs up to us." That didn't really make sense because I was talking about the past and then I switched to the present as we're eating lunch. I think it would make more sense to say, "As we ate lunch, a girl ran up to us." So I'm going to change that. I can either erase it, or if I want to see the changes that I made, I can cross it out. And that's what I'm going to do. As we ate lunch, a girl ran up to us, period. She told us she saw a dolphin. I think I can make that sound better. Told is kind of a boring word. I wonder if I can find a more exciting word. I wonder if I can say she hollered at us. She hollered at us. Oh, I know what I could do. Some speaking, because it's always more exciting when your characters talk. So I put, she hollered at us. I see a dolphin. Yeah, that sounds a lot better than she told us she saw a dolphin. This is much more interesting. Another thing I want to change to make my work better is I want to change some words that are kind of boring. Like, it made a big splash. What if I said it made a gigantic splash? Yeah, I think my readers would like that better. Revising is a lot of work. And published authors, like the ones who have written the books in our library, revise again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Sometimes over 100 times to make their work exactly what they want it to be. And they even have professional revisers who help them. So revising is the most important part of the writing process. So after we come up with our idea and plan it out, we draft a beginning, middle, and end. But then we go back and we change our work to make it even better. Finally, the last thing we do before publishing is we edit. And when we edit, we use our handwriting checklist to check for things like capitals and no rogue capitals and punctuation and handwriting. So let me go into my work and make those checks. My checklist reminds me that I need to start with a capital and end with punctuation of some sort. So I'm going to check for that. Beach. There was only one period I missed. I made sure to put that in. The next thing on my checklist says that all of my letters are lowercase except for the beginning of a sentence, names, and the letter I. So I'm going to go back to the beginning of my story and I'm going to check again, making sure I don't have any row capitals. Okay, I did have a couple row capitals, but I fixed them. The next thing on my checklist says I have a finger space between each word. So I'm going to read it again and make sure that I don't have any, that I made sure to put a finger space between every word. One day, beach. Okay, all of them had finger spaces. The next thing on my checklist is all of my letters are star letters. Now, I know I saw some letters that were not stars, so I'm going to go back and fix them. Oh, my goodness, look at that P. It has a whole other stick. I'm going to have to imagine that line. Start at the middle line, break through the bottom, come up and around. Oh, I think I can make that better. Much better. All right. I have star letters, all my letters now. So the last thing says is I can read my writing. I've done that every time and it's been fine. So I've done everything on my checklist. I have now been through the whole writing process. I brainstormed, I came up with my idea, I planned it out, I made my draft, I revised again and again to make it better and better, and I edited it by checking capitals, periods, finger spaces, star letters, and then I could read it. So what happens next? After you've been through the whole writing process, you are ready to publish your work. Today, writers, you are going to continue to go through the whole writing process. Most of you are done brainstorming and planning, so you're either finishing your draft or you're working on revising your story to make it even better. Or maybe you're using your checklist to edit today. Wherever you are, you will have today and Thursday to finish up. On Friday, we publish. Remember, writers, the writing process is an important process that all writers go through every time they write. Think about where you're at in the process. Are you finishing your draft today? Are you revising? Are you editing? Wherever you are, make sure to use your resources, your handwriting checklist, your name tags, your word walls. Be your own writing coach as you take yourself through the writing process. Enter the sacred space of the writing workshop.